The members of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Communications are spending their morning going into the afternoon at MTN's headquarters here in the Gauteng province. We see them even embarking on a walkabout as they tend to assess the facility and what MTN has been doing over time. It's part of their oversight, engagements. I'm going to bring into the conversation the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Khusela Diko, who'll just take us into, this particular visit here today, the engagements. I know that they're closed sessions. Just give us a sense of what you've been discussing with the MTN delegates and the team here, and what are you hoping to achieve looking at your visit here today? Welcome to the SABC.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Well, the Portfolio Committee is here today because, as you know, when we came into office, we had set ourselves a vision of being an activist and an interventionist parliament, one that only not looks at the challenges, but looks at how we can bring stakeholders together around the table to resolve some of those challenges. So that's why you're here. MTN is a South African, it's an African success story. We're truly proud of the work that they've done, more than 30 years since they were established. However, there are recurring challenges that I think members of the public have been raising with us in Parliament, and we want to take some of those issues up. Those are issues that relate to, the cost of living is so high, and the cost of communicating is part of those, challenges that people confront. There have been regulations that have been gazetted recently by ICASA, which would have looked at how we manage the issue of the expiry of data. The mobile network operators, including MTN, seem to have some reservations about those regulations. Now, while the matter is in court, it's obviously something that we've sought to engage on. But I think at the core of the discussions, though, is how do we work together? Technology, connectivity is really at the heartbeat of our economy. We always say that we're the foundational infrastructure that makes South Africa move forward. And we need to ensure that every young man, woman, child, whether in the townships, in the suburban areas, in the rural areas, have access to meaningful, accessible, affordable connectivity. And we are really trying to, work out those nuts and bolts, especially when it comes to rural connectivity. There's been some improvement. It's not enough. In the rural areas, people still need to go up on hills to be able to get signals, so we want to engage on that. But we're also looking at new technologies. I think the issue of satellite had been a conversation we'd been having, the low Earth orbit satellites, wanting to understand what MTN's thinking is in that regard, and how, as Parliament, we create the necessary regulatory and legislative environment to assist them thrive.
I want to go back to the issue of ICASA, because it's something that is quite topical when you talk about the cost of living and how then we see two of these giants, Vodacom, joining in the litigation as well. Is this something that worries you? Is there a way that we can actually find this group sitting on the table without it going to court? What is your reading, and does this worry you as well, looking at the regulator being taken to court?
Well, maybe let me start here. ICASA is a Chapter 9 institution. It undertakes its work away from executive interference, and as we play oversight of ICASA as Parliament, ours is to also always ensure that we uphold the independence of ICASA. So when we are engaging MTN and the other mobile network operators in this issue, it is not to seek to get ICASA to change its view on certain things, but to understand what are the challenges that industry faces in this regard. Now, these regulations, when they came out earlier on this year, they were very widely welcomed by members of the public, because we've never understood why data must expire. And I think this is simplistically for us what this comes down to. We understand that there are infrastructure management challenges, there are financial management challenges. We don't think that there's a technical reason for the use it or lose it principle, and that's what we're trying to engage them here. We also don't understand why they would have a problem with sharing data, that if I've got data, you and I are on the same network, I can't then share some of my data with you. We do know this is how our communities operate, and we think that it should be allowed. Now, we're listening to the inputs they're making, and obviously, as Parliament, we are well within our rights to have our own opinions on these matters. The matter is before court, so we will not be interfering, but we don't think that they are so far away from each other.